Welcome to East by West Farms. Here we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Today I'm going to harvest some sweet potato tips and show how to sort them for cooking. In front of me you can see there's a patch of sweet potato plants. These are from actually the sweet potato that I saved last fall that survived through the winter in the greenhouse. And then I divided them into three. And planted over here. And now the weather is warm and they are start to really thriving. So I can harvest them through the summer as the green leafy vegetable for me. Some people will grow sweet potato for the tuber. I mainly grow the sweet potatoes for the leaves. So I really don't concern about cutting off the leaves that will affect the tube production. But for this time, I'm actually going to do an experiment to see if I don't cut the leaves off, whether I will get more tubes. So since I have three plants here, the far left one, I will leave it intact and I will not mess with it. So only harvest the leaves from these two plants and to see if the far left one will produce more tube for me at the end of the fall. You can see the sweet potato ones that they are ready to harvest. When they have large enough patch and you can see the tips, then or you can see the vines start to crawl out, then you can start harvest them. If you want to control the spore and keep in a contained size, what you want is to pick the one that kind of extended out and just cut it off. This thing can grow very fast, so you may want to cut it shorter than what you think you want to keep the sweet potato one because they can grow probably 1 or 2 feet per day. So that's what I'm going to do is to trying to make this crawling vines smaller, cut them short, more close to the base. So these are all kind of grow in the walkway. And okay, so that is probably enough for one meal. So I'm actually just cutting off the vines from one plant. I actually cut this quite substantially. Now it will have room to grow. As you can see, there are some yellow leaves already because they were way too dense. If you want it to spread, but you want to still harvest it, what you can do is instead of cut like what I did, you can just pick the younger tips and cut it like this. That way, it will actually grow branches more, and that will give you a bigger or wider bush. One thing of caution is when you cut it, you will see that you have some kind of white juice come out of the vine. And just be careful with that. It's not harmful, but it could, when it dries, it gets black. So that you don't want to get that on your clothes, so that could stain your clothes. It could be stick to your finger, but that can easily wash it off. But you don't want to get it into your fingernails because that make you have black fingernails. So now that you harvest the sweet potato vine, but obviously not everything is edible. So you need to sort through them to just pick the one that is edible. So I will use this long one as an example. You have a long vine, and then you have leaves grow out of it. And for sweet potatoes, you have the leafy part and then the stem part. That is all edible. And so what you can do, just pick that off the main vine. Now, when you come to the tip of it, if you can pinch it off with your finger like that, that means that's edible. But when you come down here, you cannot pinch it. So then that's not edible. For the leaves, you could cook just the leafy part with the stem together, or if you have enough to make separate dishes, then I will separate the stem from the leafy part. So now the leafy part will be my leafy green, and the stem I can cook with peppers or meat as a hard vegetable. Along the vine, I already have small ones come out already. I could stick this in the ground, and it will grow, become another sweet potato vine. If you don't have time to put them in the ground right away, you can actually stick this in the in water, and it will grow roots, and then you can plant it. You can see that out of one vine, I actually sort 4 parts: the leafy parts, the stem of that connect to the leafy part, the short ones, so they're young enough to feed the chicken. So magically this showed up. These are actually the stems I harvested yesterday. I put them in the mason jar with the water. This branch or sucker or branch is already come out, and you can either leave it to grow or you can harvest that as well. After you have sorted the leaves, then you just need to wash it and then cook it. That's the leafy part we got, and it's probably 2 meals for us. And then we have a pile of the stem. Some of the stem is actually pretty long, and they are really sweet. So I will cook it with probably some meat. I basically chop it up, chop like 1.5 inches, and then cook with meat and the pepper. It's one of my favorite summer dishes. And over here are some of the vines that are too short for planting, and some of the leaves have some bug damage. I will chop it up and to feed to the chicken with all the leaves. On this pile, of course, are the vines that are not edible. Probably you can still feed to the chicken, but I want to grow more sweet potatoes, so sweet potato vines. So what I can do is I cut them into 4 or 5 nodes, and then stick them to the water for now because I don't have time today to plant them. And so that way, they will actually grow roots in the water. And then when I have time, I will find a place to put them in the ground. For this one, you can see that when I poured it out, it was already trying to grow roots. So this already has roots, and that will grow very well in the basically take once you put it in the ground. So basically, so that's probably all I need. The rest either goes to compost or goes to the chicken. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumb up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. If you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button to follow our journey with the Yeast by Dust.